My dear friends, brothers, sisters, if these words touch your heart, don't forget to subscribe and join this journey of light and purpose. Let today we talk about the part 2 of Cultivating Inner Paradise, a daily reality. Think about the last time you felt truly grateful. Not polite thank you grateful, but heart wide open, tears in your eyes. Grateful, that moment changed your chemistry, didn't it? Your chest expanded, your breath softened, the noise in your mind paused. That is the power of gratitude, the emotional frequency of paradise. When you practice gratitude, you don't change the world outside you. You change the world inside you. And once the inner world shifts, the outer world begins to mirror that harmony. Gratitude isn't just a moral virtue, it's neuroscience in action. MRI studies show that when you focus on what you're thankful for, activity in the medial prefrontal cortex increases, the area linked with empathy, decision-making, and joy. At the same time, the amygdala, your fear center, quiets down. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains, a heart filled with gratitude signals the brain to produce elevated emotions, and those emotions become the chemical signature of the future you desire. In other words, gratitude rewires your brain to notice opportunities instead of obstacles. It literally trains your nervous system to live in abundance rather than survival. Many of us wake up each morning thinking, what's missing? Not enough time. And at the gate to inner paradise. In the 1990s, Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential voices in the US, began keeping a simple gratitude journal. Every night she wrote down 5 things she was thankful for. She has said, gratitude changes everything. The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. That one discipline turned her focus from pressure to presence, from ambition to appreciation. It grounded her amidst success, fame, and challenge. And that's the point. Gratitude isn't a reaction to a perfect life. It's the creator of a meaningful one. In daily gratitude, rewire routine 5 minutes. 1, morning focus. Upon waking, say aloud, thank you for another day of possibility. 2, gratitude stack, list 3 things you're grateful for, big or small. 3, emotional amplifier. Close your eyes, relive one of them vividly for 30 seconds. Feel it, smile, let it sink in. 4, evening closure. Before sleep, whisper, today was a gift. I are. Receive it fully. Repeat this sequence for 21 days, and your neural pathways start defaulting to gratitude. You won't just think differently, you'll feel differently. One of the hardest lessons in life is to be thankful not only for what feels good, but for what grows you. Maya Angelou once told her students, be grateful for what you have and for what you don't have, because both are gifts. When you learn to say thank you, even in pain, you transcend it. You begin to see suffering not as punishment, but as preparation. Every heartbreak taught you compassion. Every failure shaped your resilience. Every delay protected you from something not meant for you. That realization that life is always working for you turns ordinary moments into miracles. Neuroscience of appreciation and resonance. Heart math research shows that gratitude creates coherence, a synchronized rhythm between the heart and the brain. When your heart rhythm becomes smooth and regular, your entire being, OD, functions in harmony. This coherence radiates outwards. It affects those around you. Grateful people literally emit a measurable electromagnetic field that calms others. So yes, gratitude doesn't just change you. It changes the atmosphere around you. John Kralik, an American judge and Army veteran, hit rock bottom, broke, divorced, and hopeless. One New Year's Day, he decided to write 365 thank you notes, one each day, to anyone who had touched his life. By the end of that year, his relationships, health, and career had transformed. He wrote a best-selling book titled A Simple Act of Gratitude. He didn't receive a miracle. He became one. That's what gratitude does. It rebuilds life from the inside out. Tony Robbins often says, trade your expectations for appreciation and your whole life changes in a moment. Expectation creates tension. Appreciation creates flow. When you expect, you demand. When you appreciate, you attract. Energy flows where attention goes. Focus on lack. You get lack. Focus on gratitude. You get grace. Psychologists call gratitude a meta-emotion, an emotion that organizes other emotions. When you feel grateful, anger softens, fear dissolves, anxiety quiets, your perception widens, your possibilities expand. That's why people who practice gratitude consistently show higher immune function, better sleep, and stronger relationships. Gratitude isn't just positive thinking, it's positive living. 60-second gratitude mirror. Stand before a mirror. Look into your eyes. Say aloud, Thank you for surviving, for trying, for showing up. Name one quality you appreciate about yourself. Smile. Not for the world, but for your own soul. This practice rebuilds self-trust and rewires self-talk from criticism to compassion. Gratitude doesn't add more to your life. It reveals the beauty that's already there. The morning coffee becomes sacred. A stranger's smile becomes divine. A moment of breath becomes proof of purpose. This is what we mean by turning ordinary moments into miracles. You stop waiting for paradise to arrive. You start noticing it's already here. Gratitude is not passive. It's the foundation of inspired action. When you're grateful, you operate from fullness, not fear. You give because you overflow, not because you owe. That's the energy that built every great movement. Service born of appreciation. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." Love and gratitude are twin frequencies of the same source. When you live in them, your actions automatically bless others. The gratitude ripple. 1. Write down one person you're thankful for but haven't told. 2. Send them a message today, simple and sincere. 3. Notice how your energy rises the moment you express it. 4. Observe how that positivity ripples back to you. A single thank you can shift an entire relationship, workplace, or home. The American Dre. M has often been described as the pursuit of more success, more wealth, more recognition. But the real dream, the deeper one, is the freedom to be content. Freedom without gratitude is emptiness in disguise. Gratitude turns possession into peace, ambition into purpose, and ordinary life into a daily paradise. So here's the truth. Paradise isn't waiting beyond the clouds. It's hidden in the moments you overlook. When you drink water, that's paradise. When you breathe deeply after a long day, that's paradise. When you whisper thank you before you sleep, that's paradise. You don't need a miracle, you are standing in one. So every day, take a breath, place a hand over your heart and say, thank you, life, thank you for it all. Because gratitude doesn't just change what you see, it changes who you are. Let's get real for a second. Life will knock you down, not once, not twice, over and over, until you learn to rise differently. Resilience isn't about never falling, it's about rising higher every single time you do. Every hero, every leader, every soul, whoever built their own inner paradise started by standing among ruins with only one choice left, grow or give up. So let me ask you, when the storm hits, will you let it break you or will you let it build you? The science of resilience. Psychologists define resilience as the ability to adapt well in the face of adversity, trauma, or stress. But resilience isn't something you're born with. It's trained. Every time you face fear and choose courage, your brain rewires itself. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, your mind's ability to grow stronger through challenge. Like a muscle, it gets tougher each time you lift something heavier. The problem? Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. But what if discomfort is the very thing that forges your destiny, from rejection to revolution? In 1985, Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was fired from his own company. Imagine that. A man who built something from nothing, shown the door. He called that moment devastating. But instead of quitting, he rebuilt. He started Next Computers, then Pixar Animation Studios, which later gave the world Toy Story, and transformed filmmaking forever. When Apple eventually invited him back, he didn't return bitter, he returned better. And what followed? The iPhone, the iMac, the iPad, changed how humanity communicates. Jobs later said, getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. That's resilience, turning rejection into resurrection. A three-step resilience blueprint. 1, reframe the story. Ask not, why did this happen to me, but what is this trying to teach me? 2, reset the energy, move, breathe, change your physical state before your mental state. Turn pain into direction. Take one small action toward your next version. Every failure contains the seed of your next miracle, but only if you water it with meaning. Nelson Mandela, freedom begins within. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. That's not just endurance, that's evolution. When asked how he survived, he said, I was not broken. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Mandela's story isn't about revenge. It's about resilience that leads to liberation, because true freedom begins inside you, when no circumstance can dictate your peace. That's what inner paradise really is, a soul that refuses to be enslaved by external storms. Dr. Angela Duckworth, a researcher at the University of Pennsylvania, defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. Her studies reveal something profound. Talent matters less than persistence. It's not the smartest who win, it's those who refuse to quit. Every time you push through doubt, delay, or disappointment, You train your nervous system to operate in courage rather than collapse. That's how resilience becomes a habit, not just a reaction. The Navy SEALs have a saying: under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of training. Their secret, they practice stress intentionally, cold water, no sleep, endless drills, all to make sure that when chaos hits, their mind doesn't shatter. You can use the same principle in life. Practice resilience before the storm. Wake up earlier than you want to. Do the hard thing even when no one is watching. That's how you build inner armor. Born into poverty in Mississippi, abused as a child, told she'd never succeed, Oprah had every reason to quit. But she transformed pain into power. She often says, turn your wounds into wisdom. Her entire career, from the Oprah Winfrey Show to her global humanitarian work, is proof that what once hurt you can become the fire that heals others. Your pain is your platform. Your struggle is your story, and your resilience, that's your crown. 5-minute resilience reset. Step 1, pause, T. Take a deep breath. Slow down the noise. Step 2, name the challenge. Say out loud what's hurting you. Step 3, reclaim power. Declare, this will not break me, it will build me. Step 4, refocus. Write one thing you can control right now. Step 5, rise. Take that one small action immediately. Repeat this whenever you face setback or fear. This program rewires the brain from victimhood to victory mode. In 2008, America faced a global financial crisis. Millions lost jobs, homes, and hope. But countless people, entrepreneurs, parents, teachers, chose to rebuild. They started small businesses from their kitchens. They relearned digital skills. They created community aid networks. That's resilience, ordinary people doing extraordinary things because they refuse to let circumstances define them. Every time humanity falls and rises again, the Garden of Paradise grows a little larger inside us all. Resilience doesn't mean resisting change. It means flowing through it. Trey, ES survive storms because they bend, not because they break. Ask yourself, where am I resisting life right now? What if instead of fighting, I flowed with it? Sometimes letting go is the act of resilience. When you surrender control, you gain clarity. Tony Robbins teaches a powerful truth. The quality of your life is the quality of your emotional state. When fear hits, don't fight it. Feel it, name it, and redirect it. Energy is neutral. You decide the meaning. Fear can freeze you or it can fuel you. Pain can paralyze you or it can propel you. Emotions are energy in motion. Steer them wisely and you'll turn storms into strength. The 3 are reflection. 1, recall, write about your toughest challenge. 2, recognize what strength did it awaken in you. 3, reframe. How did that event prepare you for your next level? Every scar has a story, and that story can heal the world if you choose to share it. Resilience is woven into the DNA of America, the story of Peep, who faced impossible odds and rose again. From the civil rights movement to the space program, every breakthrough was born from breakdown. That spirit still lives in each one of us, the courage to dream again, the determination to rebuild, the faith that freedom begins from within. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by how you rise. Every time you get back up, you remind the world, hope still breathes, strength still stands, light still wins. Resilience isn't just about surviving life, it's about sculpting beauty from its ashes. So the next time life knocks you down, smile and whisper to yourself, I've been here before, I know how to rise. Because that fire inside you is the very essence of inner paradise. Let me ask you something powerful. Where are you right now? Not physically, but mentally. Most people live trapped between the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. They are everywhere, except here. But here's it. Be truth. Life only ever happens in the present moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. This breath, this heartbeat, this silence, this moment right here is your only access point to inner paradise. The illusion of time, a modern disease. We live in a world that worships speed. Faster phones, faster cars, faster everything. But in the race to get somewhere, we forget to be somewhere. Eckhart Tolle said it best. The past has no power over the present moment. The truth is, your mind loves to time travel. It drags you into memories that hurt and dreams that haunt. It tells you happiness is somewhere else, in the next achievement, the next relationship, the next chapter. But peace is not found in a next. Peace is found in a now. Why presence is power. Presence is not passive. It's the most active form of awareness you can live. When you are fully present. Stress loses its grip. Fear dissolves. Creativity flows naturally. And your soul finally breathes. Think about it. The moments when you felt most alive, laughing uncontrollably, holding someone you love, standing before a sunset, you weren't thinking about later. You were here, fully, completely alive. That's presence, your entry ticket to paradise, the neuroscience of now. Neuroscientists at Harvard found that the human mind wanders about 47% of the time, almost half of our life lost in thought. When you were mind wandering, your brain's default mode network, DMN, is active, the part responsible for rumination and self-talk. But when you become present, focusing on breath, sound, or sensation, the DMM quiets down, and areas related to focus, empathy, and joy light up. In other words, presence is not just a spiritual concept, it's a neurological reset story, the monk and the noise. A young monk once asked his master, "Master, how can I find peace? The temple is noisy, my mind's louder." The master smiled and said, "Go to the river, sit by its edge, listen to its sound. When you can hear silence within the water's roar, you will find peace." Days later, the monk returned, radiant. "I heard it," he said, "the stillness within the sound. That's what presence does. It doesn't remove noise, it reveals stillness within it, the present moment." Practice your daily reset. 3-minute presence practice. Step 1, breathe. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. Exhale for 6. Step 2, feel. Notice your heartbeat, the air on your skin, the rise of your chest. Step 3, name. Silently say, "This moment is enough. I am here. I am alive." This simple reset interrupts mental chaos and reconnects you with the real you, the observer behind the thoughts story. Michael Singer and the Untethered Soul. Michael Singer, author of The Untethered Soul, tells how he found peace not by controlling life, but by surrendering to it. He says, you have to understand that. It is your inner energy that determines your experience of life. Singer built $1 billion company while living as a spiritual recluse in the woods, not because he escaped life, but because he embraced every moment as it came. When the mind said fight, he said flow. When fear said close, he said open. That's the essence of presence, not control, but conscious surrender, the flow state where heaven and earth meet. Athletes, artists, and innovators often describe moments of flow, where time disappears, effort feels effortless, and action merges with awareness. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who coined the term flow, said, "The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. They are when we are fully engaged, when we are living at our highest potential." Flow is a scientific face of presence. It's when you stop being the doer and become the doing. Every breath, every motion, every thought perfectly aligned. That's what it feels like to walk inside paradise while still on earth. Story, the jazz of now. Jazz legend Miles Davis once said, "It's not the notes you play, it's the silence between them. That's life." We keep chasing notes, accomplishments, possessions, recognition, but forget the magic lies in the silence between. Presence turns life into music. It teaches you to listen to the rhythm beneath the rush. Coding example. Presence mode activation. Presence mode activation program, 5 minutes. 1, silence notifications, disconnect from external noise. 2, ground yourself. Place one hand on your chest, one on your stomach. 3, deep breathing. 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, 5 rounds. 4, sense awareness. Notice 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, 1 thing you feel. 5, gratitude lock. End by whispering, "Thank you for this breath." Run this mental program multiple times daily, especially before meetings, creative work, or prayer. Over time, your nervous system rewires itself to default into calm awareness instead of constant reactivity, the enemy of presence, the overthinking trap. Overthinking is the thief of now. It convinces you that you can think your way into peace, but peace is not a thought. It's a state of being, as Tony Robbins says. Where focus goes, energy flows. When you focus on what you lack, you live in scarcity. When you focus on what is, you live in abundance. Presence is shifting your spotlight from what's missing to what is already here. Real life example, the Silicon Valley mindfulness movement. In the United States, tech leaders like Google's Shadmeng Tan, who created the Search Inside Yourself program, proved that mindfulness, the art of presence, not only reduces stress, but increases creativity and empathy among employees. Fortune 500 CEOs now practice meditation before major decisions. Because the still mind sees more clearly than the busy one, presence isn't escaping productivity, it's enhancing it. The divine dimension, presence as prayer. When you are truly present, even ordinary moments become sacred. Walk. Ing becomes worship. Breathing becomes gratitude. Silence becomes communion. Every spiritual tradition, from Sufism to Zen to Christianity, points to one truth. God is not in the future. God is in the now. That's why mystics say paradise is not just a place, it's a state of consciousness. When your heart, mind, and soul align in awareness, you taste eternity inside a single moment. Reflection practice. The Now Journal. The Now Journal night routine. 1, write 3 moments today where you felt truly present. 2, write 1 moment you missed because of distraction. 3, write 1 intention for tomorrow to deepen your presence. This simple practice trains awareness, turning each day into a step closer to your inner paradise. Story. The Veteran's Awakening. A U.S. veteran once attended a mindfulness retreat after years of battling PTSD. During a meditation, he suddenly broke into tears. When asked what happened, he said, "For the first time in years, I heard the sound of birds, and I didn't think about war." That's the miracle of presence. It restores the soul's ability to feel life again. Look around you, the sky, the wind, the laughter of a child, the hum of the city. These are not small things. They are life whispering, reminding you that paradise is not a destination, but a perception. The only question is, are you awake enough to notice? Stop chasing the next sunrise. Look, it's already rising inside you. The past is gone. The future hasn't arrived. But this moment, this sacred, breathing, infinite now, is all you've ever truly had. So breathe, smile, and whisper softly to yourself, "This is my paradise. I am home." Because the art of presence is not learning to escape life. It's learning to live it completely. When everything around you is noise, faith becomes your silence. When the world pulls you in 1,000 directions, focus becomes your freedom. And when life feels like a storm, flow becomes your strength. Tony Robbins style opening. The age of inner distraction. We live in an age where our attention is the most valuable currency. Every screen, every notification, every voice is competing for your mind. But in this chaos, those who rise are not the ones who shout louder. They are the ones who go deeper. Faith, focus, flow. These are not just spiritual buzzwords. They are neurobiological power tools. They build the foundation of spiritual resilience, the ability to remain calm, centered, and purpose-driven, even when the world trembles. Let's unpack each one, not as philosophy, but as a daily discipline that turns ordinary humans into unstoppable forces of peace and power. 1, faith, the invisible engine of power. Faith is not about religion. It's about trusting the unseen architecture of life. It's the belief that there is meaning even when you can't see the map, that something within you, your divine compass, knows the way even when your mind is clouded. When Dr. Martin L. Luther King Jr. stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and said, "I have a dream," he wasn't describing the world he saw, he was declaring the world he believed in. Faith gave him power when logic said give up. Faith gave him courage when fear screamed run. Faith gave him a voice when the world tried to silence him. Faith is the spiritual Wi-Fi that connects your limited self to the infinite. When you nurture faith, you stop needing to see the entire staircase. You just take the first step, daily exercise, the step of trust. Every morning, take 1 bold step toward your vision without waiting for the perfect plan. Speak it, write it, or act it, even if no one else believes yet. Remember, faith starts where certainty ends. 2, focus, the superpower of the modern mind. In a world built to fragment your attention, focus has become a rare superpower. Without focus, energy is scattered. Without focus, passion burns out. Without focus, even faith becomes frustration. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no." He returned to Apple in 1997. The company was producing over 350 products. He cut that number down to 10. Everyone thought he was insane. But Jobs knew something most people don't. Focus isn't about doing more, it's about mastering less. When you focus, your energy condenses like a laser. And what once seemed impossible starts to melt before your intensity. Mental practice, the 3 method. Find your one thing. What is your true North Star? Filter distractions, reduce time spent on activities that don't serve your purpose. Fuel your focus. Schedule blocks of deep work, silence, or prayer to recharge. 3, flow, the state of effortless excellence. Faith plants the seed, focus waters it. Flow is when the garden blooms effortlessly. Flow is the psychological state where time disappears, action feels natural, and creativity surges. It's the space where your body, mind, and spirit align perfectly. In the words of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the scientist who discovered flow. The best moments in life are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. They are the moments when your body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. Flow isn't luck, it's trained alignment. It happens when challenge meets skill, intention meets surrender, action meets awareness, when athletes call it the zone, when artists say it painted itself, or when speakers feel words flow through them. That's flow in action. It's what happens when you stop trying to control and start allowing creation to move through you. Flow activation practice. Choose one activity today that absorbs you completely. Playing music, designing, writing, running. Before starting, take 3 deep breaths and declare, I'm not the doer, I'm the channel. Then lose yourself in the process. That's where paradise begins, the trinity of strength. Now imagine this. Alignment. Faith gives your soul direction. Focus gives your mind discipline. Flow gives your life harmony. Together they create a spiritual trinity that no chaos can break. When life throws storms, you don't collapse. You course correct. The neuroscience of spiritual strength. Modern research backs what sages have known for centuries. Faith, focus, and flow change the brain's architecture. Faith activates the anterior cingulate cortex, which manages optimism and resilience, but on significance. Serena Williams. Before every match, she centers herself with breath and mantra. Not to win, but to align. When she's in flow, she says time stops. At this routine for 21 days, you'll notice your stress decrease, your energy stabilize, and your creativity skyrocket. Final message, anchored in the storm. My friend, chaos is not your enemy, it is your training ground. The goal is not to escape the storm, it's to learn to dance and sit. But there's a deeper truth waiting for you now. Inner paradise reaches its highest beauty when it becomes shared paradise. Peace is not complete until it overflows. Love is not fulfilled until it lifts another. And wisdom isn't wisdom until it's lived and given away. You were never meant to hoard your light. You were meant to become a lighthouse. The power of contribution, the final secret of happiness. Every human being has 2 fundamental needs: to grow, to give. Growth without giving becomes ego. Giving without growth becomes exhaustion. But when both meet, you ignite your legacy. Think of Tony Robbins, who rose from a childhood of poverty and chaos to become one of the world's greatest motivational voices. He often says, the secret to living is giving. He didn't find joy because he owned more. He found joy because he gave more. From feeding millions through his foundation to transforming lives on stage, Robbins' true paradise is the light he passes forward. D, your inner peace becomes power when it inspires peace in others. 1, become a mirror of possibility. When you've cultivated calmness, kindness, and clarity, your very presence becomes healing. People will feel safer around you without knowing why. They'll speak more gently. They'll think more clearly. They'll believe in themselves a little more. Used to say, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Service begins with the small and personal, a kind word, a helping hand, a patient heart. Exercise, 1 act, 1 life. Every morning ask, whose life can I make lighter today? It could be a coworker, a stranger, or your own reflection in the mirror. Do 1 act of service without expectation. Watch how your inner paradise expands beyond your skin. 3, the ripple effect of purpose. Every person who discovers peace becomes a node of healing in the global network of consciousness. This is not poetic, it's energetic. When your nervous system is calm, it entrains others. Science calls it heart coherence. When your heart rhythm synchronizes with others, reducing stress and increasing empathy around you. You've heard of Dr. David Yonggi Cho, who taught the 4th dimension of faith. His vision was never just for prayer, it was for transformation. Millions touched because one man believed in invisible possibilities. Faith turned inward, became light turned outward. Your purpose is not what you do, it's what awakens because of you. 4, building legacy systems, making impact sustainable. Legacy isn't built on one-time inspiration. It's built on systems of compassion, habits, rituals, and communities that outlive you. If you're an artist, teach others how to express truth. If you're a teacher, raise students who teach better than you. If you're a parent, grow souls who live with courage and kindness. The greatest legacy isn't a statue, it's a spirit that keeps moving long after you've gone. Practical blueprint, define your gift. What can you do that serves others effortlessly? Design your platform. Maybe it's a YouTube channel, classroom, book, or daily conversation. Dedicate your purpose. Anchor it to service, not status. 5, Stories of legacy, inner paradise made visible. Kobe Bryant, his Mamba mentality wasn't just about basketball, it was about excellence. In every human endeavor, even after his passing, that mindset inspires millions to strive with focus and humility. That's legacy. Passion turned eternal. Maya Angelou, she wrote from pain, but her words became medicine. She said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Her peace became poetry. Her poetry became paradise for generations. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in a prison cell, yet he emerged without hatred, only with hope. He proved that the greatest revolution begins not in politics, but in the human heart. These individuals didn't escape life's storms. They mastered the art of transforming them into light. 6, the formula for a living legacy. Let's bring it all together. Inner discovery, faith, believe in something greater within you. Inner discipline, focus, train your mind and emotions daily. Inner harmony, flow, live with trust and presence, outer expression. Service, turn peace into contribution. Perpetual expansion, legacy, build systems that keep giving when you're gone. This is not a 5-step theory, it's a lifestyle. And when you live this way, paradise is no longer a concept. It becomes your culture. Your kindness becomes revolution. Your peace becomes prophecy. We don't need louder voices, we need deeper hearts. We don't need more followers. We need more foundations, and it begins with you. A single seed of light in a field of noise. 9, the daily practice of legacy. To keep your paradise alive and growing, follow this legacy practice. Morning, set one intention for impact. Today, I will make someone feel valued. Midday, check your energy. Are you leading with love or ego? Adjust. Night, reflect on the ripples. Who smiled because of your presence today? That's your success metric. Repeat this cycle daily. It's how personal peace becomes planetary healing. Final message. The infinite echo. You came into this world with light. You've walked through shadows, faced storms, and learned to plant paradise within your soul. Now, it's time to let that paradise echo through others. When you leave this earth, the question won't be, how much did you collect? B, how many hearts did you connect? So rise each day not to chase happiness, but to become it. Not to find paradise, but to create it. Everywhere you go, your life is a message. Make sure it says something worth remembering. And when the final page of your story turns, may it whisper, here lived a soul who found heaven within and shared it with the world.